This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers Mastery, and this is bundle session 8. This is the final session in the series. I am going to be hosting a separate session that's around images, an extended one on images, so that we can focus on creating some sample or some test images. In addition to that, I invite everyone that has been part of the summit to schedule a 20-minute coaching session. Let me look at your bundle. Let me look at your first bundle idea, your first concept, or a couple of different bundle ideas that you're tossing around. Because again, it's all about testing it and seeing what sticks, what works, and going from there. So I'll make sure that I email out the link so you can schedule a 20-minute session so I can look at your bundle idea and we can talk through it and move your process forward. In addition to that, my amazing VA, she's been working on the worksheets that will be uploaded to the training site. So as soon as the session is over, I'll show you where they will be. They should be there in another week. She's wrapping up another project right now. So as soon as she wraps that up, those documents will be there. Sort of a checklist for you to walk through yourself to make sure that you have done everything that you need to do to help produce or create successful bundles. So today we are going through order fulfillment tips, which we probably, I have a whole thing on fulfillment center, so we're really going to be focused on that. Hiring a virtual assistant, outsourcing to a prep center or fulfillment center, subscription boxes, scaling your business, and recommended tools. So if there's another recommended tool that I forgot, Renat is on here. You can probably throw it into the chat and I'll grab it and add it to the slides. You'll also find them in your back office for eCom Sellers Mastery and the resources and tools section. So all of those are being added to that section. So as I've always said it, we don't make any guarantees or promises, but we are telling you what I've done personally and some of the other leaders that are part of eCom Sellers, what we've done to be successful in this space when it comes to creating successful bundles. So all the results you get are based off of your effort, how much time, how much energy you invest into your business. So let's talk about a VA. So hiring a VA, I think, is one of the most critical parts of your business as you get to a place where, you're testing, you're doing research, you're trying to figure out, is this going to be a good bundle, bad bundle? Maybe your life is such that you do not have the bandwidth or the time to do some of the things that it's going to take to actually do the deep research that's potentially needed to validate your bundle concept or your idea. So what is the VA? It's a virtual assistant, someone that can come in and do some work, or someone that can be you. So that's why you should get a VA. You can multiply yourself. So right now, if you put together a schedule and your schedule is 10 hours a week or 20 hours a week, imagine if you hired a virtual assistant that could come in and work another 20 hours for you. That's 40 hours a week in your business. That's 40 hours of productivity that you couldn't do yourself because your life is the way that it is. And let me just say right now, I am so appreciative of a VA because of the fact that I have limited mobility. That is extremely helpful. Not being able to bend over and pick up boxes or move stuff or package stuff or stand for long periods of time or sit for long periods of time. Again, the things that you may be limited if you have kiddos, maybe they're active in sports or maybe they're active in other activities. Maybe you're active in other things as well. So having a VA that can do some of the work that you can't get to definitely will help you in your business. And long-term, bigger picture, if you multiply what you do, you go from working 20 hours a week in your business to 40 hours a week in your business. How much more can you get done? So the key is, what are you going to have the VA do? Now, there are some risks to hiring a VA. Those risks are, around access and exposure, meaning they got to have access to some of your stuff. There's ways to get around that. If you use listing tools, that can help get around that. If you give them limited access maybe you're working off of a Google Drive, or maybe you've got some other drive that you're using. I forget, what is it, OneDrive, which I think is Microsoft's tool, and then I forget the other drive. But in any case, there's all these different drive options that you can give them access to put instructions and data there, spreadsheets, whatever you need them to do. But you may have to allow them access, depending on the platform, to some of your stuff. So that's a concern for some people. You want to vet the right person. You want to find the right person. Time and timelines. So bringing on a VA is going to require some time. And I like to say right now in my business, I'm at a place where I am slowing down to run forward. I think like Dallas Gordon has a similar saying, but it's not exactly the same. Mine is to slow down just enough, reorganize, restructure to run forward. And so I know that if I bring on a VA, that VA is not going to be up and running on day 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's going to take some time to get that VA up to speed, to get them where I need them to be. And so I have to factor that into my game plan. I have to factor that into my reality. So I will say it is June. If you're watching this at some other time, that's fine. But right now, June is a perfect time to bring on a VA. Bring on someone that can do some work in your business so you're ready to use them and rock and roll with them for Q4. So be strategic about when you bring on the VA. Allow enough time to ramp up, to get them up to speed so that they can work mostly on autopilot, and you can have an amazing Q4 because of the timing that you invested in getting them going. A VA is going to cost you money. You got to have some money, so you got to build a budget. That's for sure. So you have to be mindful of that you got to have some change around. One of the strategies that I Lyft, Postmates, and Thumbtack, and some other stuff, maybe delivering groceries or something like that on the side for a period of time, and take 100% of those funds and they use it for that virtual assistant during Q4. So for me, when I was selling on other platforms, like if I was selling on eBay, I take 100% of my eBay sales for June, July, and August and invest 100% of that profit into VAs for Q4. So I would factor in saving for my family's vacation and saving for medical expenses. I would actually do that saving around December and January so that I did not have to, be using that money for anything else other than covering for a VA. So I would always fund for my health savings account and my deductibles and all that other stuff. I would use my Q4 part of my Q4 profits to fund everything in January. So I had money January 1 for my summer vacation. I had money January 1 for, covering things that I knew I was going to have to spend a lot of money on throughout that coming year. So my strategy of taking all my profits in the middle of the year and putting that towards a VA, that way I could ramp up and be ready for Q4. So that's one of my strategies. I've used it multiple times in the past. And so I think, you can consider that. It's an idea. And then the expectations. Everyone thinks that when you hire a VA, they're going to be ready to rock and roll from day one. And that's not realistic, and that's not reality. Even if you hire an experienced VA, whether you hire them to create listings for you and they've done them before, or whether you've hired them to do whatever, that's not realistic. Anybody that you hire, there may be a way that you do things or a way that you need them done because of the way you track things. So there is going to be some level of training, whether it's a lot of training or a little bit of training. There's still always going to be some nuances in training. Just like a person that gets a new job at a corporate company, when they come in, there's an allotted amount of time when that new hire comes on board. If they were hired as a receptionist, even if they've been a receptionist for 20 years, they're going to give them like a few weeks or even a month to get up to speed on how we do receptionist work here at this corporation. So hiring an experienced person or training someone, make sure you set that expectation, understanding that it's going to take them a little bit of time to get up to speed. So there's three different types in my mind. There's three different types of VAs. The first one are doers. These are people that or resources, not necessarily people, because they can think. They are there just to do what's considered a simple task. So a simple task might be putting files in a file cabinet alphabetical order. That's a simple task. Terribly complicated about what you need them to do. So doers are those people that just need to be able to do a simple task, and they don't have to think a lot about the task. It's just like repetitive work. It's monotonous, it's tedious, and there are many different things that you can have them do, and we're going to talk about what you can have a VA do for you. Then there are thinkers. So thinkers, you need thinkers to be able to do the work and think about what they're doing while they're doing the work. Thinkers are going to be people that maybe were previously doers, and they are interested in doing just a little bit more. Like, you give me the simple stuff and I'm happy with that. I'm glad that I'm an individual contributor. If you could give me something a little more interesting, that would be great. So maybe you give them an opportunity to create a design for you. Maybe you give them an opportunity to help create a listing, and you give them some criteria around creating the listing. Thinkers are a little more involved, and the task that they have to do, the task is not really the person. The task of a thinker is a little more involved. It requires you to think about whatever it is that you're about to do. So if I've got to do product research, that means I got to think a little bit more. Unless you have a doer and you're just going to give them, say, I only want you to go to these websites, look up these things with this criteria, and don't think anything else. With a thinker task, you're saying, okay, I need you to go beyond this. When you go to this website, I need you to also be considering things that might be on sale, be considering things that might be in the season, be considering things. And so you're giving them a little more freedom and a little more lead room to be creative in the role, and or to give you more, to show you what they're capable of doing. And then specialists are those people that they really are there just for a specific task. You need them for that specific task. So maybe they are a video creation person, maybe they're an email swipe person, maybe they're a graphics creator, maybe they're an SEO expert. These are people that are, the task is a specialist type of task. And that task requires a person with a specific skill set. And again, even with the specialist, you still have to give them instruction. So if I hired a video creation person, I still got to give them instruction. So thinking again that you can hire a VA resource and they can hit the ground running, that's not always reality. There is going to always be something about you, your business, that they have to understand in order to do the task that you need them to do. So keep that in mind when you're looking at, is this a doer task? Is this a thinker task? Or is this a specialist task? Like, I need somebody with a specific skill set to be able to do this task. Okay. The next thing is thinking about, when you're about to outsource to a VA, what are some of the things that you need to take into consideration so that you don't run into challenges and or mistakes? Now, I will say this, when you hire a VA, sometimes you have to hire another VA, and you have to hire another VA, and you have to hire another VA. And that is the reality. You have to hire multiple VAs. People will quit, things will happen. That is your reality. But if you put some of these things in place, when you do find another potential resource to be able to take on that work, it can make life a little easy. So with that being said, not knowing what you want to outsource is a problem. Hiring somebody and saying, I don't know what they need, but I need them to do. Or I think I know what I need them to do, but you haven't written it out. So for me, like, I knew I needed VAs, and I wrote out each one of the VA tasks. As a matter of fact, I wrote out that I needed 6 VAs in my business. Do I have 6 VAs? No, but I will at some point, because I already know what I need each individual VA to do. I've already outlined the tasks I need them to do. So you need to write out everyday tasks that you do in your business. What are you doing every day? What are you doing every week? What are you doing every month? And that way you can figure out, start separating them by, these are doer tasks, these are thinker tasks, these are specialist tasks. and you can start to plug and play. I will put all these doer tasks, and maybe I can hire one VA to do all the doer tasks. And all they do is they come in and they go through a checklist of everything that they need to do, and they don't have to think that much, or that task doesn't require them to think that much. Okay, these are the thinker tasks. So I might need 2 VAs because the list is kind of long. And then specialist tasks, well, I might have to hire, this person, a specialist for this, or find a company that's the easiest to hardest. So that's the whole figuring out the task. How hard is it? How easy? And also, what's the ROI? I don't know what's happening with my computer. It keeps saying internet connection is unstable. So can you all still hear me? Can you still hear me? I'm going to ask. Can you still hear me? Am I still here? Please say yes if you can still hear.
I don't know why they wouldn't. I'm able to hear you.
Okay. All right. Just got some kind of weird thing happening. Trying to get my little control back. Zoom. There we go. All right. So they can still hear me. That's good.
They said you're going in and out. I'm hearing you pretty well. I don't know.
I have 90,000 windows open.
Always, I do too.
I do too. So hold on just 1 second. We're just going to take a brief, let me close a couple of these windows.
Close a few windows and see if that helps.
Yeah, because I'm doing 90,000 things in the background, but you already know that. So let's see if we can make it a little better. All right.
So while you're working on that, Kathy had a question about your note when you were talking about having to plan for the VAs, and she's asking if you have separate bank accounts for your medical and all of those things.
Yes, Kathy, I am that weirdo that I do actually have. I set up a long time. I did this so long ago. Capital One used to be, oh gosh, what was it? It was Capital One 360. It used to be ING Bank. I think that's what it used to be. And so they got purchased by Capital One. And so, yes, I did have 4 different accounts set up. They were all savings-based accounts. And so with the savings-based accounts, I use those to separate everything out for me personally. So I would, that was my strategy, is I would put a little bit of money in each one of those accounts. So my strategy right now is I roughly put about $300 every single month, except for the months in which I know I'm going to be traveling. And so I'll do $300 January through May, and I'll put that into the savings account. And then anything that I make, June, July, August, I use that 100% for the VA. And then September, October, November, December, I don't take any money out until around December. And I'll take out roughly what would be equivalent to around $600 or $700 per month after I've kind of met the expenses. So 700 times 4 is $2,800, and I put that all aside. So I already had money in there that was, growing interest, and I was separated out into different accounts. So I'd have one that was an emergency fund account, one that's vacations and kids. So I have to buy shoes and clothes because they're continuing to grow. And then I would have money set aside for medical. So I would disseminate the money into those 4 accounts. That was my strategy.
And one was just in case, Kathy, you're looking at doing something like that. A lot of the more regional or local banks have like a Christmas club. So if you're looking at vacations or anything like that, you can set those up for anything. They call them Christmas clubs because it allows people to set aside money for the holidays, but you can set one of those accounts up and drop funds in there for just about anything. And if they don't have something like that, I mean, clearly you can set up something for yourself, but that just keeps you from opening up multiple accounts. I know for tracking purposes that can be a little bit more
Nightmare.
difficult. I've had tons and tons of bank accounts, and I eventually ended up shutting some of them down because it's just kind of hard to track. So just a couple of other ideas.
Yeah, those are a couple of other ideas. I have the 4 only because I got the medical expenses for the boys, which is unique to our situation. So if you have a unique situation because of therapies and you need to have that money tracked somewhere, I put my stuff there. And then I always have a separate money so I can always have money to take the boys on vacation. So I try to keep all those types of things separate. And then I have one for business. But I don't have like 9,000 bank accounts. I do have the 4 that I set up with Capital One 360, love it. And then I have 2 accounts at Wells Fargo and 1 at BBVA. That's it. I got like 7 accounts total. So I don't have a lot of bank accounts. Some might say that might be a lot, but I've seen people that have way more than me. So no, I don't have a lot of bank accounts. Okay. So you need to figure out knowing what you're going to outsource. You need to figure that out. What are you going to outsource? And the thing what that's going to do is you write down what you think you need to outsource, looking at your daily task of what you do. The key is it's kind of like that exercise that you do when you're going to go see a nutritionist or a doctor who's like, I need you to write down everything that you're eating every day for the next 2 weeks. And we're going to come back for that follow-up appointment. It's the same concept. So you need to write down everything that you're doing every day for the next 2 weeks so that you really get a feel for even the little bitty things, little minuscule, not very much, things. Write those down so that way you have the opportunity to come back to that list and say, oh, that is probably a doer task, and I can separate that task out and give it to somebody else. So write down everything for for at least 2 weeks. If you do it for a month, that's great. And that will give you a starting point of what you potentially can outsource. You can do a brain dump as a starting point, but write down everything. And then once you write that down, figure out what skill you need next to that. So this is a doer job. I don't need a high level skill. I could probably hire a VA or someone hire a high school or someone in another country to do this. So it doesn't require a high level skill. This one, I need somebody to think a little bit more. So these tasks, these 5 tasks, 20 tasks, whatever they are, I probably need to hire somebody that maybe has a little bit of experience or is willing to, grow a little bit more in whatever the task is that you need them to do. And then those specialized skills, again, you need to write those down. If you need an accountant, you should write that down. If you need an inventory management person, you should write that down. So write down the skills that you need so you can figure out, how you're going to divvy out the work, how many people you could potentially bring on board. Okay. And then I wrote down that you need to determine how you want to outsource, whether you're going to hire an individual person for it or you're going to hire a VA service. There's a couple of companies. We have 2 contracts or 2 agreements with 2 companies that I kind of like. One of them is clearly a doer company. They just do simple tasks, and I like them for the fact that they do simple tasks. And the other one is more of a specialist company. They have a boatload of people that specialize in a boatload of skills. And so with both of the companies, I get different things done with each one of them. And I love that about those companies. So I'm going to mention some companies later on. The other mistake that people make is that they're unorganized in the interview process. You need to figure out what questions you want to ask. You need to have a list of those questions. So I have the job description written down. Okay, got it, done. What are the things that I need to ask in order to ensure that if this is a thinker task, that the person I'm about to potentially look at, consider, or hire can actually do this work? So what are for each one of the tasks, like write down 1 or 2 questions for each one of those tasks that you may want to ask that person. Do you have experience with spreadsheets? And you gave me an example where you had to reconcile some numbers that were on a spreadsheet. Do you have experience with accounting? And you give me an example of where you had to reconcile, something for accounting purposes. Whether or not you want them to speak English is important. Where are they located? What hours do you want them to work? Do they have to have hours that are your hours, or can they have hours that are not your hours? We have an amazing team that is predominantly in India. They don't work my hours. So I set certain times in which I actually meet with them. We have another team that's in Pakistan. So again, figure out what you're doing, what's going to work for you. But what do you need? You have to have that when you're interviewing people. So when are you available? When can you work? Is it someone that you actually want to see? You want them physically in your space, in your office? Or is it okay, that they do, 70% of their work outside? So if that's a requirement that you want to see them once a week, you need to, that should be one of your interview questions. And what are the hours? And what's the hourly rate? How much do you have to commit to pay them? So, what are they needing? Because if you don't understand that when you're talking about VAs, what you'll have potentially, not always, is you could have a VA that's working multiple jobs, and that can impact the performance you get in your business or the result that you're expecting from them, because of the fact that you're like, okay, you're supposed to be working 20 hours for me or 30 hours for me, but I'm only getting 5 hours worth of work out of you. What's up? The other piece of that is having a VA that, if you need them to work a certain number of hours, that VA is not satisfied with the work, and so they end up quitting on you after a certain period of time. So understanding that expectation, because of the fact that they're not getting what they need to be paid. And if they say, I need whatever country they're in, so we have VAs that their salary could be anywhere $300, $400, $500 a month. That may be acceptable for the country that they're in. What is the rate that's going to keep them from walking away if you've invested time in them and to get them to do the work? Hiring cheap and expecting everything. So this goes back to hiring a person for thinker tasks, or hiring a person for specialist tasks, but you're only willing to pay them to do at a doer rate. So when you look at the compensation, doer tasks is lower cost. It's just repetition in most cases. Thinker task is a little bit of a higher rate, and specialist task is a much higher rate. You have to think through that. What does that look like for you? And if you think that you can get someone at $200 a month to do, I don't know, graphic design, SEO work, build you a website, I don't know if that's going to be feasible, and you want to pay them 40 hours a week. Not really sure what you're going to get there. Might be a problem. Might not get what you're expecting. Not establishing expectations. Again, going back to, if you didn't ask those questions in the interview, don't expect them after the interview is over. So if you didn't outline and explain, okay, well, what's your availability? How many hours can you work? What are you expecting to get paid? And then you say, okay, well, the schedule is this. I need to be able to meet with you during these hours. And then after you've already hired them, be like, okay, so I told you I needed to meet. Well, I sleep during those hours. Nope, that was part of the agreement. You said you could do it. That was like the discussion we had. Not establishing some type of touch-based communications. So all of my VAs, I actually meet with them at no less than once a week. And if I have a new VA coming on board, I meet with them twice a week. So I go through and we talk. Emergencies and scheduling. So I actually built for my VAs a separate schedule. So when they say they need off because I got a family wedding to go to, or I need to take 3 days off because I'm going across country or whatever it happens to be, they go and put it on the schedule so that I can see it. I get notified when they add it to the schedule. So I'm not going, I gave you 50 things to do this week and you only got 10 done. So also, how do they communicate with you if there's an emergency? As we know, as an example, great example, unfortunately, India has, COVID is just horrible over there right now. And so it's starting to gradually get better. But having a way that your VAs can reach out to you if there's an emergency, a medical emergency, they have to go to the hospital, they're sick, their family came down with COVID, whatever it happens to be, or they've got a funeral of a loved one, being able to develop a method in which they can communicate with you in times of emergency is key. And also know that in some countries, you have to be prepared for this. If you have an international VA, the internet stability might be different than it is in the US. Not that mine is the best right now, but the internet stability might be different. You need to be prepared for that. So how are you going to prepare for the work that you need them to do for the week? All right. Not diversifying the task across your business. So if you have one VA that's trained to do everything and they quit, what are you going to do? So you need to look at what other skills do these VAs have. Start to talk to them, get to know them. Maybe some of them came from corporations. So they literally have a background on some other stuff and you hired them to do something simple. They took the job because that was the situation they were in right now, but they have the capacity to do more. So consider, what are the other things that I could potentially be doing with this VA if they have the skill set? What is my backup plan if this VA quits? And, you can record some of the training so that if you hire another VA later on, you can use your current VA to help cross-train a new VA. They can use the videos that you've already recorded. We use Loom to record our videos. Makes it easy to get the VAs going again because the videos already exist. So makes your life a little bit easier. Not setting up your VA correctly. What, Nicholas? So not setting up your VAs correctly. No, I'm in the middle of a training. So make sure your VA has access to all the tools and resources to be able to perform their job. If they do not, that is a problem. You need to make sure when you get them going that you've given them access to everything that they need. Make a checklist of those things that they'll need access to. They need a login for this. They need access to this tool. Do they need a VPN? You need like a remote VPN. So it looks like they're in the US, and is that an expense to you? You need to write down what are the things that I am going to either have to purchase or have access to in order for my VA to be able to do their work. Sometimes having that VPN, so NordVPN is one of them, that they can VPN in to like a local IP address. And then if they're doing product research, it makes it easier for them to do product research. And then what is the schedule for that VA? Not having, like I said, a game plan where how you're going to meet with them for the first 3 to 6 months. And also, if they're going to need access to more stuff after the fact, if they've got a horrible laptop or horrible whatever, what are you going to try and do to help resolve that issue? Can you help resolve that issue? If you can't, then is there anything else that can be done so that the VA can do some of the work? What are they capable of doing? So make sure you know what they actually do and don't have access to. Not allowing enough time to get your VA up and going. I talked about that before. So understanding that, there are going to be things that you think is going to take 10 minutes or going to take 20 minutes or going to take 2 hours. And they come back and tell you, this took me 8 hours to do. You're like, okay, thank you. Course correction. Let's adjust the timeline on what the deadline is for this thing so that way you're not caught off guard. I've had a couple of things where we had a deadline for stuff and I had to move it out by a month because of the fact that they needed more time because the task took longer. Not listening to their ideas. After your VA has been working for you for a while, he or she may see things that you can't see because you're in the business, okay? Or you're working on the business or you're multitasking. Maybe you're working on the 20 plates that you're juggling in the air. And so of the 20 plates, this VA is working on 3. And so this VA may have some keen insight after working in the business with you for 3 months to say, have you ever thought about blah, blah, blah? And you go, no, I had not. Thank you. I'll go look at that. Just for some people, not listening to the VA, not hearing what they have to say, not getting any feedback. And also, there are times I'm going to say this, you have to decide, figure out how you want to communicate or interact with your VA as well. So I had the misfortune of working with someone who was supposed to be part of our summit, who had they were a horrible person. I didn't know that, but I found out through their VA because their VA was trying to be diplomatic the whole time. And it was like everything that I was trying to get this person to do or respond to or to answer was so ambiguous. And I could not figure out why it was so ambiguous. And the funny thing was, during this whole conversation, I think I was like communicating back and forth with this person over a 2-month span. I had interacted with 3 different VAs, not knowing that the previous VA quit, the other one was picking it up. The next VA quit, another one was picking it up. So listening to other people's VAs about Like if you're working on a project with someone or you're partnering with somebody on something, or you're thinking about working with another person that maybe has a VA, sometimes that other VA can be helpful in helping you understand what you're potentially about to get yourself into. I learned the hard way that person was a complete blank hole. So in any case, listening to your VA, sometimes they have good information they can share you. They have ideas, especially if they've been doing the job that you asked them to do for a few months. They kind of get a feel for it. They get a rhythm, they get a pattern, and they go, you know what, you could do this. And I will tell you, when you have a VA that gives you that kind of feedback, that shows that they're taking the initiative, that they're actually interested in the job, they're interested in the work that you're doing with them, and they're engaged, versus those VAs that are not giving any feedback, not just, oh, okay, this is what you want me to do this week. Okay. I understand people have lives, stuff happens. They don't have, they may not have the capacity because their personal life there's a lot of stuff going on. And so having a VA that actually is, okay, look, my life is this right now, but I just want you to know, I thought of this idea the other day. It may make this a little bit easier for me to do this job. So, and then not sharing your vision and allowing them to grow with your business. I always talk about the Hibbert brothers. I'm just so enamored with these guys. They are not doing the same business that they used to do, but the Hibbert brothers, they actually had a pool of VAs that they had held on to for 3 years straight. No turnover, no nothing. And it was because they shared their vision with their VAs on where they wanted to go, what they wanted to do, how they wanted to grow the business, how they wanted to scale the business. And when they decided to shut down their business permanently, they actually, before they shut it down, they let the VAs know, one, to give them enough time to find new jobs, but two, they also reach out to their other business partners and or people that they network with and mastermind with on a regular basis, said, hey, I have these 2 amazing VAs I think that can help in your business over here. I have these 3 amazing VAs. So sharing that, because if they ever wanted anything or needed anything from these VAs, you know that these VAs will come back and work for them at a moment's notice. So make sure that you share after you've had an opportunity to work with that VA for a period of time. You feel like, okay, this person, we're at a good place. We're having really good touch bases. I'm getting good work results out of them. Let's talk about where we're going with this business and what I need from them, and see if they have any aspirations to grow in the business with you. So to get started with the VA, the first thing I recommend that you document your business processes. So in other words, the thing I talked about before, write down everything that you do every single day, little and big, throughout the day, the week, the month, so that you have a starting point. You should start to create your standard operating procedures. Your VAs can help you do some of that. If you're creating videos to kind of walk them through stuff, maybe one of the tasks that you give them as they come on board is, okay, I need you to create at least one new standard operating procedure every other week, every 2 weeks to a month. So that way they can, use whatever tool you have to record it and to also document it. So we use a Google Drive, we use Google Docs, and we use Loom. And those are the 2 things that we use in order to create our standard operating procedures. And we put everything in folders so that we have those standard operating procedures to fall back on. Research companies, VA-related companies, or set up your own individual accounts. So Upwork and Freelancer and Fiverr has individual people that you can hire to do specific tasks. You're going to pay a little bit more money for Upwork and Freelancer. Fiverr, you probably can find some decent people, but again, you want to be cautious or aware of what work, I won't say cautious, just be mindful of what work you want to give them, because these are gig workers. Gig workers, that means that they're doing a quick gig and getting paid and they've moved on. So you definitely need to have a good Loom video and a good document for them to review before they start, or you need to give them very detailed instructions on what it is that you want them to do. If you're wanting to have a recurring relationship with them, then you may be able to hire them and they may have an offer or some rates in which they share with you on a recurring gig with them, or recurring task. If you're looking for more of a person that you can hire for recurring tasks, there's some other companies, and this is not the entire list. You can just Google list of companies, VA companies, to find your own list. So onlinejobs.ph, you'll definitely find international Philippines resources there. Replace Myself, Virtual, My Outdesk. There's so many others, but these are companies that have a pool of VAs that you can hire from. And so giving you that opportunity, whereas like Upwork and Freelancer, you got a lot of specialized jobs in there, people that specialize in specific skills. And then Fiverr, you get a hodgepodge of both. So, but again, that's more individual. And then freeup.net, 24-hour VA and eCom VA. Those are e-commerce specific, although freeup.net doesn't just do e-commerce anymore. So backstory on FreeUp, I forget his name. Oh God, I see his face though. So the owners of Outsource School, they sold FreeUp. It used to actually be 3 E's instead of 2. And they ran their own e-commerce business. They ran their own Amazon business, and they had a pool of VAs. And they ended up having so many VAs. I think he said at the end, they were like at 35 VAs. So he had a pool of 35 VAs that were trained to do e-commerce on Amazon. 35. So he started, hiring them out. And that's how FreeUp got started. And they were bought out. I don't know who bought them. They dropped one of these, and now it's freeup.net. But in any case, that is the story. That's sort of the story. These guys got several $1 million to sell FreeUp, and then they started Outsource School. 24-hour VA has e-commerce VAs available, and then so does eCom VA. So you can go look at those, and then you can do a Google search for other VA companies. And then the next thing after you figure out what you're going to do as far as hiring an individual or hiring, using a company to help you find a VA, the next thing after that is to do a trial. Have them complete a simple task for you. That's very common on Upwork and Freelancer, to do a simple task, to put the task out there, and then different VAs kind of try and do the work, and you'll see who bubbles up to the top and who doesn't. So if you say something like, find me 10 items, if it's an e-commerce related task, find me 10 products that I can sell right now from Five Below that I can sell on Amazon, Walmart, or eBay for a profit. And so you say 10, you only want 10, and that's the task. So you'll have some VAs that will see that task, they'll go and do it, and you'll get a spreadsheet. Somebody else might give you a Google Doc. Somebody might go above and beyond and give you 20 instead of just 10. And you're like, okay, I maybe want to talk to these 2 people. And you can do a trial period where you try out both of them. So that's what I did in my house. I hired both of the people to come and work in my house. And I ended up separating out the duties because I liked both people. So again, see who bubbles up to the top, who tries, who doesn't try, who gives you crap, who gives you detailed information. If you're going to do a test trial, you can also do some of that same stuff with Online PH and some of the others. You want to check out what your test options are. And then once you figure out who, okay, out of the 20 people that tried to do this task, or the 10 people, I think these 2 are the best. So then you can review their results, make a decision, make an offer on those people. When I say make an offer, some platforms require you to make an offer, like Online PH, for example, onlinejobs.ph. They require you to make or have an agreement with them to pay the person for 13 months. So they get like 1 month free of work. So you're committing to a year, you're committing to a monthly salary, and you're committing to pay the person for 13 months. Or if you say, I only need them for 6 months, then you're paying for 7 months, because they're always getting 1 month of work free. So in other words, it's their vacation. So keep that in mind. Different platforms have different requirements. So be mindful of that and work that into your budget so you're not caught off guard. Definitely. And then monitor their work, monitor what you're getting out of them. Monitor initially every day what you're seeing, so you can determine whether or not this person is or is not going to work out. If they're a waste of your time, you move on, or monitor what the expectation is every week. So I need you to complete these 10 tasks. And if they can't get the 10 tasks done in a week, but you had a previous VA that could do it, then there might be some up. If it's a brand new task and you kind of underestimated it, maybe you allow them another week or 2 grace and mercy to try and figure out, were you realistic in assessing that it was really going to take this amount of time, or were you overzealous? And if you were overzealous, you got to give that cut that VA some slack. So figure out, how it's going. And then after you get to a place where you feel like you're comfortable with them, then check in with them, figure out what your check-in method is going to be. So like I said, I do weekly touch bases. I do Loom videos to say, this is what I need you to do each week. And then I go through the checklist spreadsheet to try and see what they got done and what they didn't get done. When we have our touch base, there's already notes there, so they know what the expectation is for the week. And then I also tell them about what needs to get done for next week, so there's no surprises. So if they need to tell me now, oh, I was going to ask you for next Friday off because I'm going to blah, 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 you can tell me now versus surprising me next week. Continue that process. You will find potentially over time, as the VA kind of gets the standard operating procedures going and they're on autopilot, especially if they're doer tasks, doing a 15-minute touch base with them once a week and then checking files or checking whatever is going to be part of the business. And so you get to a place where there are people, when they say they work a 4-hour work week, that's how they do it. They have like 3 or 4 VAs that they check in with. Like one VA is overseeing all the other VAs, and they literally like, okay, I check in every day for 15 minutes. And that's how I do it. So I check in with 3 VAs, 15 minutes each. So it's 45 minutes a day. And then I move on with my life. And if there's anything I got to deal with, then I go deal with it. So I recently was talking to someone who lives that life. And I said, I got to get there. I got to get there. So that's the reason why I said I need 6 VAs. Okay. So what can you have the VA do for you? Oh my gosh, there's so much that you can have the VA do for you. So I'm going to give you the story of, and you can look through this list. My brother, ironically, I think it was like, what is today? Today's Saturday. So I think it was Tuesday of this week. He has a VA that is starting on Sunday that I hired for him to do work in my business. So the conversation I had with him was, he was trying to figure out one of the strategies I teach him when he's about to create a listing. So I'm like, okay, you need to go and do research to find a similar product, not the exact same product, maybe it's the exact same. Find a similar product, look at the title, look at the description, look at the price, and see how you want to create your listing. Before you start creating listings, you need to know what you're about to put up. That's the only way you're going to get through creating listings quickly. So one of the things that I used to do is I used to do speed listing, which is I've already taken the pictures, I've already cleaned them up, I've already done the keyword research, I've already got my list of what keywords I'm going to use for this listing. I've already done the titling created the description, sort of. And so when it comes to doing data entry, if I'm going to sit down and do data entry to create listings, all of the pre-work is done. What happens when we're all in this e-commerce journey is we get frustrated because we have to keep stopping to, now I got to go clean up these pictures. Then I got to go and figure out what the title is going to be. Then I got to figure out how much am I going to sell it for and what's the description, all of that stuff. And so you go from being able to sit down and knock out 10 or 12 listings in an hour to sitting down and getting 2 listings up in an hour. That's the difference. If you do the pre-work, you literally can sit down and feel like, okay, I knocked this out. I accomplished something. Versus he's trying to say to me, it's taking me 2 hours to do this. I'm like, because you're doing it the hard way. Don't do it the hard way. Streamline your process. Figure out what you're going to list for the week. If you do that on Sunday, sit down. How many listings am I going to create this week? If I'm going to create 50 listings this week, do I already have 50 pictures? More than 50, but in any case, do I already have the keywords, the titles that I'm going to be using, or the words I'm going to be using in the title? Some of this stuff I can do on the fly, but some of it you need to know, what are people searching for? Do I already know what the prices the thing is selling for? And do I already know the descriptions? If I don't, I need to get somebody to do that. So I said, why don't you upload all these photos that you have for these products that you plan on listing and have the VA create a spreadsheet for you that has all of the items that are similar to the one that you have. So have her go and clean up the images. That's one. She can clean up the images, put them into a folder that shows done. Second, give you a title, and she can rename the files. So you can have her rename the files for you so that when people are doing image searches, they can find your product. He was like, oh, and I was like, yeah. I said, and why don't you have her go in and come up with, or at least do the keyword research on 2 products that are similar to yours, what the titles are, what the descriptions are, and what the price is. That way, when you sit down to get ready to create a listing, you already have some information that you need to create that listing much faster, and you don't get frustrated, you don't get deflated. It was like, yeah, I should have her do that. So what I'm saying is everything I just described to you, a VA can do for you. And the VA can create the listing if you hire a thinker to say, okay, now that you have all this information, thinker, task, I need you to go ahead and create the listing for me. So if you literally want them to do all the work, give them all the pieces or the steps of the process in order to do all the work. So when I say product research, product sourcing, if you want them to go do some sourcing research, when you're talking about bundles, we're talking about pieces that come from multiple places potentially. So have them go and find out, okay, I can find this bottle, this miniature bottle of shampoo on these 7 sites. These 2 sites have this kind of delivery situation and it's much faster. These 3 sites have this pricing situation, blah, blah, blah. So then you, as a business owner, you can come in and make the income producing decision. Let them do the research. The research is important, but it is technically not an income producing activity at that time. It is an income producing activity when you get that item listed. So have them do all the pre-work, have them go out there and do the product research, have them go out there and do the sourcing research, have them do the keyword research for them, have them do your images, name your image files, put them in a folder. I love Google Drive. Like we have 3 terabytes in 2 different folders. So we're like 6 terabytes. We're good. So whatever we're doing in the business, we got enough space. Definitely have them do some of the work for you. There are so many benefits to having a VA, and it streamlines your business operations. It helps you to make more money. So you should get a VA. You should make that part of your strategy long term. When you first start, you may not have the capacity to have a VA. I started off with 1 VA, and now, I don't know. Just my life is different now. It's an evolution. And we just continue to get better at what we do the more we learn and the more frequently we do it. So consider long-term, bigger picture, spending the next 3 months, maybe documenting your processes yourself or recording them in video or audio form, and then maybe having them transcribed or whatever, and begin the process of outlining what you need someone to do for you. What's going to make your life easier? What kind of task can you hand off to somebody else so you don't have to do the monotonous, tedious work? Think about that. And what's going to make your business run much faster? So the next thing we want to talk about is fulfillment center. So fulfillment center versus a prep center. A fulfillment center is they will fulfill the orders. If you think about like Amazon, FBA, fulfillment, my Amazon, a fulfillment center just takes the stuff that you have already sent to them. They put it on a shelf. When somebody buys it, they take it off the shelf, they put it in a box or a bag, and they ship it to the person. There's no prep involved. Okay. So they ship it for you. They just store your stuff and ship it. Deliver is a fulfillment center. They don't do prep. Prep centers, they put stuff together for you. They will take labels off of stuff. They'll put things in baggies. They'll shrink wrap. They'll do whatever you want them to do. So if you're planning on doing an amazing bundle, you need to find a prep fulfillment center for sure. Unless you want to do it and you want to hire the kids in the neighborhood to come to your house and help put the stuff together for your amazing bundles or your amazing multi-packs, that's fine. But long-term, bigger picture, make this your next aspiration. Your next aspiration is to get your stuff over to a prep fulfillment center. Because a prep center can put the stuff together for you, all the different components, especially if your inventory is coming from different suppliers. And then they can ship it to your customer. They do the fulfillment side of it. So there are prep-only centers. Just keep that in mind. So why should you consider a fulfillment or prep center, prep or fulfillment center? Well, do you have inventory in your closet, car, garage, hallway, kitchen table, spare room, everyone's room, in the basement, in the attic? Do you have inventory a little bit of everywhere? Maybe you have an office space, but the office space is so filled with inventory, you have no room. I have no room to talk. Like if I walked around my house with a camcorder, I have a storage unit, I have a garage full of inventory, I have a living room full of inventory. It is pathetic. And I have inventory in the room that I'm standing in. Like, oh my goodness, Nicole, like this is crazy. So clearly I should be at a prep center right now. And I have already set up 2 accounts, but my life is so crazy over the last couple of months. I have not, actually more than the last couple of months, the last year and a half. 2020 was my year to go to a prep center. That was my year. Then my kids came home from school and never went back. It changed everything. So I am in the reset mode because of the fact that 2020 was my year to go to a prep center. So I commend my business partner. She did it, and I dealt with kids. But in any case, I'm going to a prep center. That's all I will say. So what can they do for you? They can do the unpacking. They can check for damaged items. They can put labels on your products. They can bundle your products, bagging, all of that stuff. So if you're going to put together a subscription box, a prep center can help you with that. You can have the boxes produced. You can have, if they're going into a physical box. And you can have the inventory coming in from different places. You can have your VA follow up with the prep and fulfillment center to make sure that everything as it should be, provide the additional instructions or information that the prep center needs. Okay. So they can box up your shipments. They can send it to a fulfillment center. So you can have a prep center, send it off to Amazon for you if you want. If you have a prep and fulfillment center, you got to have that. I don't know why I wrote these opposite of each other. I don't know. It's probably tired. But so a fulfillment center gives you opportunity to scale your business in the future. That's true. You can scale your business. When you think about the people that are doing 8 figures and, 7 and 8 figures, that's what they're doing. It's going to be extremely rare that you find a person that is doing 7 figures in their Amazon or eBay or whatever business, and they're doing it from their home with one thing. Like if they are, their margins on the one thing has to be ridiculous. Like they're selling a small item for like $300 or $400 a piece, and it's a frequently bought item. Like that's how you get to those numbers and not have a prep and fulfillment center. Like I don't need one because my item that I sell is so tiny. Yeah. Typically you're going to be dealing with boxes, even if it's something that's small, like, bottles of vitamins. It's still boxes. People got to deal with that. You got to ship it to a customer bags. So it's going to be stacked up, even if it's something that's selling all the time. And it's going to be stacked up somewhere. So putting it off to a prep center is going to help you. So they'll handle all that tedious work. They'll warehouse the stuff so you can get your house back. They'll give you some personal attention to your products. They have the expertise. They can customize, some different things for you. If you build a relationship with the prep center and fulfillment center, it can be amazing. So I'm a huge fan of Pauline, who's up in Canada, who has a great prep and fulfillment center and the work that she's doing up there, helping people be successful selling in Canada or on Canada. They can even help with some advertising if you want them to stuff things into your boxes when it gets shipped off to your customers. They can help you with that as well. So a prep and fulfillment center, the things that they can do to streamline your business is great. So other things is that, you with the benefits of going to them is you don't have to do shipping plans. So if somebody else is doing the shipping for you, you may have to set up an additional account. Like some of them, depending on how they're structured, you might actually need a ShipStation account, or they may ask you to set up a FedEx or UPS or whatever, or everything may run through them and then they just invoice you and bill you. So it just depends. You may not need to send labels depending on how your account is interfaced with them. If they have an API, then they get the notification and it automatically gets shipped from them. It's like drop shipping, actually. So depends. So they can make sending your products out to your customers faster and easy. They can also make it easy if it's coming from maybe your manufacturer to them. They'll check in those boxes for you and take care of that and confirm the counts and all of that other stuff. And in some cases, depending on the level of access they have to your account, they can add or increase your inventory levels. If they know what the case is, they say, okay, this is a case of 200. I'm going to go in and update the inventory levels that we got another 200, send a notification to you. So you literally didn't touch anything. So there's no need to fill products from your garage. Yeah, or pay for warehouse space. And it is cheaper than hiring employees. Yeah, probably. I mean, well, I will say because of my strategy that I use for paying people to come to my house, it's probably the same. So, because you have to be creative in how you take care of people. I always try to hire high schoolers. I've said that multiple times because they will work for a Little Caesars pizza and a 6-pack of Coke. Pepsi. We'll say Pepsi instead of Coke. Anyway, you get the idea. And it allows you to be able to grow your business, grow it faster, to be able to fulfill more orders. The more orders you can fulfill, the more inventory you can push, the more sales you can get, the more money you make. That's the reality. So once you outsource to a prep center, you can focus on the things that make you money, like finding profitable products. And again, your VA can help you find those profitable products so you can grow your business. So consider going to a prep center because time is money. Time is money. Time is money. It frees up your time to be able to work on other things that are going to make you money in your business. All right. So here's a couple of the prep centers that we recommend our fulfillment centers. Yeah, I said it right. This one, I don't know what happened on the other slides, but deliver my fulfillment team and Canada Prep and Fulfillment. I also want to mention Precision Prep. Precision Prep, I think, is out of Pennsylvania. You can look at where prep centers are located and see if maybe you get a better rate sometimes because of the taxing of where the item is coming out of as well. So, look into that and see if you save money that way as well. All right. So here's a few different prep and fulfillment centers that are located, and you'll have this in your you have it in your back office. I'm giving you information on who's tax-free. So again, coming out of the prep center, and there's more. Like this list is ever growing. I know that there's another prep and fulfillment center that's being set up, ironically, by Canada Prep and Fulfillment here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So I'm looking forward to that because of the fact that Texas is not necessarily a tax-free state, but that is closer. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what they have. Okay, so hopefully some of these you kind of eyeball to see what they're capable of doing, whether or not they're tax-free. So you can see the first one, like Shippex, I don't even know what that is, but it's in Illinois. Their prep times is 24 to 48 hours, so giving you a window. It's not tax-free. They handle wholesale, they'll handle import. So if you're getting pallets in or containers in from China or some other country, they'll handle your imports. That's a big deal. Who's going to handle checking that, receiving that inventory in and passing it through, making sure it gets through customs for you. Online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, they'll receive that for you. Hazmat, they'll receive that. And they'll also receive used books. So knowing which prep centers can do what based on how you run your business is extremely important. There's, as you can see, there's a lot of them. So I hope like eyeballing this list is helpful to you. All right. So we went through a lot. I gave you the prep centers that the ones that we have relationships with. There's a couple of others. We're actually expanding out. I think we're like talking to 3 other prep centers. So I need to make sure I update that list. So let's talk about scaling your business. Scaling your business to have more fun, to make more money when it comes to your bundles. So the first thing is I do highly recommend that people invest the first 3 to 6 months into your business. The power of compound interest is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like if you've ever just sat down and looked at the formula itself and looked at the results of, there's the whole diagram that they show you. If you're 20 years old and you invested $2,000 every single year for the first 10 years of your life, and you could stop investing and you'd have $1 million by the time you got to the age of, I don't think it was like 45 or something like that. Like the power of compound interest is ridiculous. And so if you take all of the profits that you get in your business in the first 3 to 6 months and you reinvest 100% of that, what your business looks like after a year is going to be bananas. Because at that point, taking 100% of the profits, you managing the business, you working in the business, whatever it happens to be, the first 3 months, and then maybe you hire one VA, and then maybe 2 months later you hire another VA, and then 2 months later you're outsourced to a prep center. Like you're reinvesting back into the business, you're scaling on inventory, whatever it happens to be. So if you're a person that you only have 10 hours of work 10 hours a week to work in your business, and you want to get the most bang for your buck, definitely look at reinvesting 100% of your profits. Look at making sure that those 10 hours, at least 8 of those 10 hours, are focused on income producing activities, because you don't have a lot of time. And then first opportunity where you can double yourself or get someone else to do the not income producing activities, do that. Try to make sure that the rate is reasonable or the amount is reasonable, and then begin to gradually scale. Get better at sourcing, get better at all of that. So 3 months, then 6 months, then 9 months, a year. What does your business look like? Could you have a 6-figure business in under a year? The answer is yes. The answer is absolutely yes. You do have to have a starting point. And the starting point can be as low as $25 or $50. If you invested in the right thing, you do the right thing with that money, and you consistently invest, $50 a week, every single week, and you commit to that without taking any money out, and, being prepared to wait, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks before you actually get a profit, and then take 100% of that profit and reinvest it back into the business. As long as you're prepared for that, because, when it comes to selling products, there's no guarantee how quickly or slowly the item's going to sell. We all like for our stuff to sell within, 2 to 4 weeks. That is a dream. The reality is it might be 6 weeks before that thing sells. It might be 8 weeks. It might be 12 weeks. You may have to tweak the listing a couple of times. You may have to change the pictures. You may have to whatever when it comes to your bundle, because again, you're testing before you can move forward. So reinvest 100% of your profits for the first 3 to 6 months. I expand that out to really 9 months or a year. Just be prepared for that, because that could mean in a year you're ready to quit your job because you invested 100% of your profits into your business. If you need to take some money out, then figure out how to do that, and reinvest at least 50% for the next 6 to 9 months or 6 to 12 months. Okay. And also consider investing in some training for yourself. You don't have to take a boatload of training, but don't spend all your life on YouTube, watching YouTube videos, and don't spend all your money buying 50 training courses that you've only gone through 3 of them in 1 year. Once profitable, invest in tools that are going to help you in your business. So if you're not profitable, you need to stay in the free tool space for a while. I had keyword research. I have Keyword Spy, but actually there's other free keyword research tools, Keyword Inspector, some other ones that we previously gave you. So look at those tools to help you with keyword research. And you can also use those to give to your VA. Then when you're in a profit position, consider purchasing tools that are going to help you increase your profits exponentially, but not until you're into profit. I see so many people, they jump out and they start doing e-commerce and they buy all these tools and then they go, I haven't made any money. Like, well, nobody told you to buy all that stuff. Don't buy all that stuff to get started. Don't. My mentor, the person who taught me how to do this, she actually, before, she didn't even buy labels when she first started. She literally would print it out on an inkjet printer, which is the same way I started. And she would cut out all of her labels to go on her items to go to Amazon. She would tape them on the item until she was into profit and she could go buy a stack of labels. There's nothing wrong with that. We all started somewhere. We all started somewhere. So consider that. But look at tools that are going to help you in your e-commerce business to double or triple your product, your profits. Things that are going to help you move faster in your business, get sales faster, find things that are already moving, maybe find your main item that's going to go in your bundle. But don't do that until you're into profit. You got to be into profit before you can invest in tools. And only invest in tools if you are consistently using it every single month for 3 months. There are people that will buy tools. I am one of those. I raise my hand. I buy tools and then I use it for a month, maybe 2, and then I've never touched it again. So if you need to cancel that subscription, that's money you can reinvest in the inventory. Stop paying for that. So you need to do that in your business. Okay, so increase your operations hours. So as you continue to move through your business, you start figuring out what you can streamline, what you can make more efficient. You need to take those hours and put them towards something else that's an income producing activity. Again, looking at my brother doing listings. I'm like, you're doing it the hard way. Let's figure out how we can streamline this and make it easier. Let's do all the product research at once. Let's do all of the price comparisons at once, and the title research at once, and the description stuff at once. So you literally can sit down and crank out. If the research takes you 2 hours and listing takes you 1 hour, and you got 12 to 15 things listed in 1 hour. Okay, I divide that out. That's 5 items an hour. But now you got a process. So can I get faster at this whole 2 hours worth of product research? Yeah. So maybe I can get my product research down to 1 hour or maybe even 30 minutes. So now what does that look like next week or the following week? I'm getting faster at the product research and comparison and pricing and keyword research. And I am getting faster at listing versus take a picture of an item, clean up the image, figure out the pricing, figure out the title, okay, you're doing it the hard way, way too hard. So figure out how to make things more efficient in your business. Where are those opportunities to make things more efficient in your business? Research and create private label products. This is what I talked about at the beginning of this whole process of creating bundles. Long-term, bigger picture, you should be looking at creating a brand. You should be looking at creating something that someone can buy from you later on, and you can retire to Tahiti or Maui or wherever you want to go. So that's what you should be looking at. Look at the opportunity to go private label or white label long-term. Create a product that solves, or a bundle that solves a problem or is part of a trend. Definitely. So it's going to require you stepping out, you doing some research, you digging into stuff. Concentrate on niches. That can also be a great opportunity. That's the reason why we did the niche exercise in session 2. It was a very involved niche exercise. And that niche exercise has produced several millionaires. I actually took that from a 7-figure earner. So it works. It works if you do it. It's a matter of figuring out what you already know. What are you already part of? Which group are you already in? And then finding a niche to serve that audience. So if you do that, you could literally turn your business into a 7-figure business over time. 7-figure profit, not so. In order to get 7 figures in profits, you got to have probably close to 8 figures in sales. So niches do pay. Look into that, figure it out, go back and do the niche exercise. Diversify and sell on multiple platforms. Definitely do that. And consider doing multiple e-commerce methods. So, is there a print on demand opportunity for some of the stuff that you're doing? Is it a mix and match kind of situation? You buy some stuff from a wholesaler and do print on demand combined, and then have them put together an amazing bundle for you. Selling on Facebook Marketplace, again, one of the least expensive platforms to sell on right now, May not be the cheapest in shipping, but it is one of the least expensive to sell on. Etsy, Bonanza, Google Shopping, Poshmark, Mercari, Walmart, some of these other platforms that are starting to come online. Look at that. And especially if you brand yourself, like I know that they are allowing some branding stuff on Netflix is getting ready to do something with selling products. And I already know that people sell products on TikTok. I think Hulu is the next platform. Netflix and Hulu are actually going to have an e-commerce arm. We're getting ridiculous. So your ability to sell products on so many different platforms is only limited to your own ability to get organized and get structured and be consistent. You have the opportunity to make a boatload of money. They're bringing platforms online just like crazy right now. Optimize your ROI. So if you are sourcing, look at liquidations. If you can buy some stuff in bulk, look at your closeout stores. Look at, is there cashback opportunities? If you're using the cashback card, if you're going to buy a specific bundle to do for a period of time. So when I say a specific bundle to do for a period of time, maybe you're doing Christmas bundles, maybe you're doing Easter bundles, maybe you're doing back to school bundles. So some of those platforms are, again, you're selling a bundle for a specific period of time. It is not potentially going to be something that's going to be sold year round. So look at those opportunities, and then those things that are sold year round, those opportunities for replenishable bundles or consumable bundles, look at that too. And do you have any liquidations that you could acquire some of that stuff from? Closeouts, clearance that you're going to buy in bulk and send to your prep center? So think about that. Hire a local helper. I've already mentioned that before. High schoolers, young people in the neighborhood, people at church. I know that is negative. COVID-19 has made it very challenging to be able to do that, but it's still an opportunity. And also look at sites like TaskRabbit or Thumbtack. Again, knowing how much you're willing to pay the VA. So my strategy, again, was to take the money I made in June, July, and August and have a set amount of money that I knew I was going to pay for the VA. So that when I hired them, I had the money to pay them for the 6 weeks or the 8 weeks or the 10 weeks I was going to use them. So if my goal was, in order to hire a VA to do this work, I got to make sure that in June I have, I don't know, $6,000 in profit. And then in July, I got to have $8,000 in profit. In August, I got to have $10,000 in profit. I take all of that and put it aside and say, okay, how many local helpers, because I still have stuff in my house, still have stuff in my house. So how many do I have to hire for that window in time to be able to knock this out? So maybe I hire 4 people and I pay 2 of them for 6 weeks and 1 of them for 8 weeks and 1 of them for 10 weeks. You figure out how you want to do that. Create your own website. So selling on Shopify, always a great opportunity, especially if you have bundles. WooCommerce is another one. LotCommerce, BigCommerce, Wix, Weebly. Setting up your own store, another way to make some money and get more eyeballs. You do have to drive your own traffic, so you got to get better at that. You can hire a specialist. You can make that a specialist task so that they can help you with the marketing to get more traffic and eyeballs on your listings. Number 4, paid campaigns, advertising, and organic traffic. Again, hiring a VA to help do the Pingler and Ping Farm thing, that is low-hanging fruit. The listing already exists, so the income producing activity has occurred. Having a VA just come through and ping your listings every single day or every single week. I mean, that's a simple task. That's something you can write down. How much time does that save you? If you got 10 listings, probably not a lot of time. But as your business continues to grow and scale, if you got 300 listings or 500 listings, how much time did you just save yourself? Doing something, it'll get you more traffic to your listing, but what else could you be doing during that window? You could be sourcing or creating more listings for profitable items. You could be continuing to make money. So have somebody else do that work. Get creative. attend some trade shows, meet some new company sources for products. So I know ASD is always popular here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We have the Dallas Market Center. They have a boatload of vendors that come out. And so we have an event that's coming up this August where we're going to take people to the Dallas Market Center. They have they have almost as many vendors. They have a lot. We have 16 floors or 18 floors of vendors that are going to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for the Dallas Market Center shows. So, you spend hours there finding new sources for products, hours. Outsource simple tasks to a VA. I can't stress that enough. I cannot stress that enough. You should not be doing the non-income producing task. Give that to a VA. If you're not there now, don't beat yourself up. It took me a while to get there. So I think I started my eBay journey in January of 2014. And I think I hired my first VA. I want to say I hired Kyle. When did I hire Kyle? Now I got to think about that. It was the following year. The first year, Kyle wasn't there. It was 2015. It was July of 2015. And I taught him how to create listings and do images and stuff like that. And then he worked with me and for me through Q4, and I brought on 2 other people. So again, hire a VA to do some of the stuff that's taking you too much time to do so that you can focus on the things that are going to make you money, like product ideas and concepts, and then going out there and validating them. They can do some product research sourcing. So if you say, okay, I need to find suppliers that make blah, 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 or that sell blah, 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 or that offer blah, blah, blah. Or can you go out to the White Label Expo and find these types of, let them go do that. You focus on something else that's going to make you more money and check the numbers. Move to a prep center, save some time. Move to a prep and fulfillment center. It's going to save you some time. So consider transitioning to a prep center, long-term, bigger picture. So, like I said, I've done everything to transition. I just haven't boxed everything up to move it. So, and I know so many people who run prep centers. So I know how they work. I mean, I should run my own prep center at this point. But in any case, but I do not want to. I need somebody else to do that. I got other stuff to do. So keep all of this in mind if you want to scale your business. This will help you scale your business faster, and you'll be able to make more money faster. So here's some tools that we recommend. eCom Dash will allow you to cross-list over to Amazon and to eBay and to Walmart. So will Shopify. You can use Shopify as a pass-through to list onto Walmart and to Amazon. The reason I mention these is because if you're going to get a VA, having some of these tools, long-term, bigger picture, not right now, but long-term, bigger picture, you can give the VAs access to the tools so you don't have to give them direct access to your accounts. So something to think about. You also want to make sure that your prep center, like eCom Dash, that your prep center can potentially interface with eCom Dash, because eCom Dash collects all of the sales that were made, stuff like that. Keepa for product research, we recommend them. It's a great tool to help you get some information, especially when you're looking at what's going to be for the bundle. If you're doing a multi-pack, that's a different thing. But if you're doing a bundle, what is the key featured item? What is the main item that people are going to be buying this bundle for? And what are all the things around it that complement it? List Perfectly allows you to cross-list on the other platforms. So if you get that listing up on eBay, it will send it over to some of the other platforms for you. Also with eBay, you can do a syncing so that the listing goes automatically over to Bonanza, and you can push that listing from Bonanza over to Google Shopping. So again, your VA can go and do research to make sure that that listing is making its way to Bonanza and also confirming that it's over on Google Shopping. So now your listing is on 3 different platforms just from listing on one. Okay. So List Perfectly pushes out to other platforms. Helium 10 and Google Jungle Scout. I was going to say Google Scouts. Jungle Scout and Helium 10 allow you to do some product research and keyword research, give you some statistical data to work with. Graphic rhythms can help you long-term, bigger picture when you're ready to create that amazing product bundle image. They do a great job. We have an account with them and they do a great job. So, when you're ready to do some branding and you're ready to create some bundles that you're not taking the pictures, you have them professionally done with the instructions or the guide or whatever, Graphic Rhythm Designs is great. Deliver, we recommend them for a fulfillment center, along with my fulfillment team and Canada Prep and Fulfillment. So if you're planning on selling in Canada, selling on Canada, either one of the two, then, and that includes selling on Canada, on Walmart Canada, and also, which is a slightly different process, and selling on Walmart, selling on Amazon Canada. Canada Prep and Fulfillment can help you do that. And then if you're needing some legal support, so you're going down that journey, we used the IP Accelerator program with Amazon, and they connected us to an attorney. But Seller Basics offers a lot of services, especially if you're going to be taking that brand, you're going to be doing some other things with it long term, or you want to be able to know your rights on different platforms, or you run into challenges with any platform. Seller Basics offers so many different services, so you should look into them. And again, you can use them to do so much. So those are the tools that we recommend. There's some more, I'm sure, that we will put in your back office that you can access and look at when it comes to tools. All right. And then just going through a bundle checklist, like everything that you need to know about creating a bundle, the things that you need to do, we literally covered in sessions 1 through 4, the majority of what you need to do. Everything after 4, the 4, 5, 6, and 7, definitely helpful information, but the basics of what you need to do to create an amazing bundle are covered in sessions 1 through 4, for sure. So the first thing is, you need to figure out what your schedule is going to be, and you need to develop that schedule. What are the hours you're going to work in your business to create an amazing bundle, or to start working on bundles in general. So if that's 5 hours a week, then be honest with yourself and it's 5 hours a week. If it's 10 hours a week, then be honest with yourself and it's 10 hours a week, whatever that looks like. And develop a budget for your business. Even if the budget is as small as $50 a week, build it and stick with it, whatever that is. $50 a week, take 50 times 52 weeks in a year. That's not chump change. If you can get to $100 a week or $200 a week, that's even better. If you've got $1,000 a week, that's even better. But stick with something that's realistic for you and your business, because you're going to be starting small. I started small, and there's nothing wrong with starting small. We all start somewhere. Determine your bundle plan. Sorry, it's supposed to be a your there. So your bundle plan and your approach. So do you plan on creating bundles that you plan on branding long-term? Are you just going to be a multi-pack person and you're just going to do multi-packs for existing products? And I do recommend, if you plan on doing anything with Amazon, you need to go ahead and at least create a brand, a generic brand, if for no other reason than to be able to sell bundles without UPC on Amazon. Because again, the GTIN exemption process and how they're making that work now is different than it was a year ago. So if you want to sell, Amazon is still king. If you want to be able to sell on Amazon, I'm encouraging you to go through that process. Think about the long-term, what's going to happen to your business after this is done versus, oh my God, the money I'm spending right now just to make it happen. So you'll get all your money back and then some. Okay, if you do your bundle work right. So figure out your plan and your approach. Am I just going to do multi-packs? Am I actually going to create some bundles? Am I going to go for creating an amazing brand? How often am I going to be listing? Am I going to be listing, creating a new bundle every week? I'm going to try to create a new bundle every month. Am I just going to do seasonal bundles or just-in-time bundles? Just-in-time bundles and seasonal bundles are things that people are buying because we're coming into that season or period So back to school is a perfect example. Back to school, I mean, school supplies sell year round, but they really go crazy in July and August and part of September. So you get ridiculous sales. So if you're going to be that person that you're like, you're okay with riding the roller coaster of sales, that's fine, because you always have a wave. I can tell you what all the waves are. So literally, like, January is like the beginning of the year. That's all the New Year's resolutions and all that. So you want to be sourcing for your January stuff in October and November. Then you got February, which is Valentine's Day and all the lovey-dovey stuff. So you want to be sourcing for that in November. Then you've got, so this is riding the roller coaster. Then in March, you got St. Patty's Day. It's a little bit of a bump. You also have a lot of sports stuff happening in March. So again, you can raise that bump a little bit if you jump into not only St. Patty's Day, but some of the other stuff that's happening in March, like the Final Four or Sweet 16 and all that other fun stuff that's happening in March Madness. So again, incorporate some sports if you're trying to keep this a level playing field. But I'm using my hands. I'm sure you can't see them, but I'm literally doing my finger like I'm riding a roller coaster. But the reality is you have the opportunity to smooth out that journey of, you know, how much money you make every single month by making sure that you have a baseline underneath of what we call replenishable bundles, replenishable products, steady eddies. So if I'm layering this, this would be like a pizza. The stuff that's on the top is all of the back to school and Father's Day and Mother's Day and Christmas and Easter. That's the toppings. But the crust is your steady eddies. It's your replenishables. It's the baseline money that you always make. So figure out what those are going to be and make that part of your strategy. You know, make it your goal to maybe find one steady eddy a week or one replenishable, because again, sometimes your replenishables will evolve as well as more and more people find it or discover it and they jump on the listing and you're like, okay, well, I don't have a choice. I got to come up with another steady eddy or replenishable. So if you're finding one new replenishable a week and you're also creating one new bundle because you're going into a season or a period or maybe a new movie's coming out, these are all just-in-time bundles. Those are just in time. So having a combination of both as part of your strategy, figure that out. What's your strategy? What's your approach? Then after you do that, okay, now that I've got some things I'm thinking about, now I'm going to do some keyword research and I'm going to do some niche research. What are people buying when it comes to back to school? What are people buying for Valentine's Day? What are people buying for Easter? What are people buying for Christmas? What are the words that they're using to search for those things? What are the things that sell the most? I can use Keepa to do some research on the baseline primary product. What are some of the other things? Let's think about your replenishables. So what are the things to kind of complement that? Maybe like for Thanksgiving, people are going to be buying a bunch of stuff for Thanksgiving dinner. So, you know, you've got stuffing. That's a consumable. People will continue to buy stuffing. I can tell you that. October, November, December, January, they'll continue to buy it because stuffing sells year round, but it really sells a little bit more during those holidays. Other things like gravy packets, these are all consumables because a consumable is something that is purchased and used once and I got to go buy some more when I'm out. Toilet paper and paper towels are clearly consumables. Okay. Bottled water, when people are done drinking bottled water, consumable. Bananas, I mean, you can't sell bananas, but you get the point. It's something that once you use it, eat it, whatever, it is gone. So you have to buy some more of it. So look at that as part of your strategy and look at the niches, do the niche research. What are the things that people are buying during those windows? What are they looking for? And what's the keywords that they're using to search for it? And what are the keywords that are in the titles for the listings to buy it? And then validate your idea or concept. So we did that validation exercise in session 2. Session 2, we talked through what am I looking at? Is there a Facebook group for this? Is there an audience for this? Are there already products that are already selling? Are ads already running for this type of product? If you go through that entire exercise, you literally will find the gold. You will find the gold. Then conduct your preliminary sourcing. So that is, if I'm going to test a bundle, I'm just going to do some baseline sourcing. If I am really trying to create my own private label or white label product, then I am going to do some preliminary sourcing. If I'm doing just-in-time bundles, then I'm going to just do some preliminary sourcing by going and doing retail and online arbitrage and maybe some wholesale sites. So if I know I'm creating Christmas bundles, then I'm going to go to specific sites to be able to create those Christmas bundles. So, you know, I know where I'm going to maybe get coloring books, or I know where I'm going to get puzzles, or I know where I'm going to get stockings, or I know where I'm going to get little toys and trinkets that might go inside of the stockings or inside of the bundle. So I know where I'm going. Go do some preliminary research and keep that list of, once you figure out your approach or method or your strategy, keep the list of the things that you find are working for you. Like, I always know where I'm going for these things, and here's my backup sources for these things, whatever the things happen to be. Then you're going to test the bundle, and you want to test it in different variations. So if I make a 7-piece stocking bundle versus an 8-piece stocking bundle, or a 10-piece stocking bundle, or if I'm selling some supplements, or if I'm selling shampoo, or if I'm selling, you know, multi-packs of gravy, like, what is my sampling types and sizes and brands, and what am I doing? Also test the images. Which images resonate? Are these images getting more traction than these images? So I know for next year, if I'm going to be selling gravy packets for Thanksgiving, like, I know that the multi-pack of this image got more traction than the multi-pack of this one. So people like this brand over this brand, or they like the pictures on this one, blah, blah, blah. So I can test some stuff out. They like them vertical, or they like them kind of up and down when I'm doing a multi-pack versus, you know, horizontal, or whatever it happens to be. Price, what is the price I'm going to sell? And you can use tools like Keepa to help you figure out what your pricing strategy might be. You can also, you know, come up with your own formula. Everybody has access to that spreadsheet that I created, so you can figure out some things about your pricing. And then what platform? There's going to be some things that you want to sell on one platform versus another platform. So what is the platform you're going to sell these products on? And that should be part of your number 2 when it comes to what's your approach. You need to be thinking about your platform too. Like, am I going to just stay in the Amazon realm? Am I going to venture out and do eBay and Etsy? What am I going to do? What am I going to sell? I am a multi-product, multi-platform opportunist. So I don't limit or restrict myself to any one platform. I believe if there is money to be had for this great idea that I came up with, I am open to receiving it from any platform. So am I going to overextend myself? No, because I'm going to hire a VA to help me manage all those platforms and make sure I have tools to be able to manage all those platforms as well. And then source for a private label or white label. I think there's an opportunity there for you to create some private label or white label products long term. When you do your niche research, it's going to reveal to you the gold. It may also reveal to you the hole. You're going to go out there and you're going to read the reviews on products, and you're going to be like, oh man, so people are frustrated because this thing doesn't do that, or it does this, or this is a problem. Reading other people's complaints or questions about a product and making sure your product solves that problem will help you build the product that's going to make you a bunch of money. Just know that there's somebody else who's going to jump on, you know, they're going to steal your idea or concept over time, not immediately. And that's why we create, multiple listings, and we have a strategy of, I'm going to create at least 2 listings or 3 listings or whatever it happens to be per month. So if I'm going to create a new listing every week, that's fine. Maybe I'm creating 1 new bundle that is going to be part of my private label strategy. And then the other 3 that I create in that month are maybe replenishables or steady eddies or something like that. So figure out what your pattern and your approach is going to be, and just continue to get better at perfecting creating bundles. So I want to know, did you get value in this class? Did you get value? Do you feel like, oh my gosh, I learned a whole bunch in this class, and I now have a new approach that I'm going to take when it comes to bundles? Tell me if you got value in this class. Was this class helpful to you? Did you learn something new? Is somebody else teaching you this? I would love to know. I mean, not that it matters, but so are you going to use this strategy, the information that you learned from this class? Like, would you recommend this class to somebody else? And are you going to use any of these strategies to help you create better bundles, to create bundles to start with, and to create better bundles? So share your thoughts, share your feelings. Tell me what you're feeling, what you're thinking. What do you think about it? I want you guys to use it. And I also want you to schedule your 20-minute session. I want you to take some time to really think through your bundle strategy, situation, whatever. And I want you to schedule a 20-minute session. If you have 3 or 4 of them you want to throw at me in that 20 minutes, that's fine. But I want you all to be successful. I don't want you to take this class and this be a class where you'd be like, oh, okay, I took this class, and then you don't do anything with it. I need to have some success stories come out of this class. So I need you all to act on what you learned, what you heard, and definitely use it in your business. It's going to make you money. Trust me, it makes you money. It makes you money. The reason I say it's going to make you money, the reason I have so much crap in my house is because I have so many bundle ideas that just fall out of my brain. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, I'm not allowed to buy any more stuff. I'm not allowed to buy anything else new until I get the bundles that I already have in my house out, which is crazy. And it's sad, but I mean, clearly, I can see bundles in everything. We were on vacation, me and Renata went on vacation with a girlfriend this past week. We were in Florida, and I was like in the store going, oh man, like taking pictures of bundles. So I'm just saying that I bundle ideas and I have them on my phone. So I just want you guys to take this and I want you to implement it. And I want to hear back from you. Like, I feel like we should have a class reunion in like another month. Say, okay, tell me what you did. Show me what you did. Tell me how it's working. Or maybe in 2 months, let's have a class reunion to say, okay, let's come back. Let's talk about where you are in this journey. And then when I reteach this class, which I will be teaching the bundles class again next month, I want you all to, you have the opportunity to come back and participate in this class. And I want you to encourage somebody else who's frustrated with whatever's happening on Amazon or not happening on Amazon, who's frustrated with their e-commerce journey. I want you to encourage them to come take this class and act on the stuff that they learn in it. And if they act on it, they will get results. You will get results. So what questions do you have for me? What questions do you have for me? What thoughts, what feedback? Give me feedback about this class, please. So I'm going to answer questions. Do you use or share Google Calendar to schedule with your VAs? Yes, I do. I use the Google Calendar. And the great thing about the Google Calendar is, you can create their own unique calendar. So they're the only ones that are seen on, they're the only ones that can see the calendar. You and that VA are the only ones that can see the calendar. So in the Create a Real Work Schedule, I taught you guys how to create a calendar, and you can just click on the checkbox in Google, and that way you can see their specific calendar. And then you can set up notifications. So when my VAs work and they fill out their time cards, which I have them do it in a Google spreadsheet, just so I have the information. And when they fill out a time card in the Google spreadsheet, I get a notification. I turn on notifications with the Google spreadsheet so it notifies me when they put in something. So I can go look at it, or I can just click from the email and I can go look at it. So hopefully that answered your question. But yes, I do use Google Calendar. I use as many free tools as I can get my hands on, because there's no need to pay for tools. If there's a solution out there that is free and that it works, I use it. That's what I do. All right, so what other questions do we have? I want to make sure I answer all your questions. I want to make sure I give you everything that you need. I know I already gave you a lot of stuff. So the class on the images, I'm going to schedule that as soon as we end this session. It's going to be next week. And we're going to knock out that images class. It will be recorded. It'll be added to your back office. So let me go ahead and let me go to, we're working on the mastery event. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to log in. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. Pause. I don't know. Pause sharing. Okay. So I should be frozen. Let me show you where your stuff is going to be when the VA uploads it. I have an amazing VA. Her name is Poonam, and I think she's awesome. She's like my superhero. She is so my superhero. All right. So resume sharing. So when you log in, and she's working on that. She's working on it. All the bundle sessions are like all of the bundle. Oh, Lyria. Okay, so I got to go fix something. Something happened with 7, so I got to go fix that. Lyria has taken over uploading these, so I need to go see if she forgot to do something. So under here, under bundles, resources, and templates, this is where you're going to find all your stuff, all your checklists and everything. So you'll find all of your resources that you need from this class. It's everything we've already covered. It's just in a booklet form. And so you'll find it all in a booklet form here in about a week after Poonam is finished with what she's working on right now. So I'll go and fix and see what Lyria did about this particular video. Not really sure why it's not visible. So let me go fix that. Can we sit in on the next class on the next month? Yeah, you. Whenever I offer the bundles class again, you definitely. Okay, Nicholas. You get to take it for free because you already paid for it. So you get to come back and you can sit in on the next bundles class absolutely free. So that's part of the deal is when you buy a mastery course, every time we offer it, that specific mastery course, because we offer different mastery courses. Whenever we offer a specific mastery course, you get to take it absolutely free.
And don't forget about the other session. Maybe he's asking about the other session for the pictures.
Yes, that one will be uploaded to your back office as well. So whenever we market the upcoming mastery course, we'll send a separate communication to previous registrants to say, if you want to attend, here's your link. So then you'll be able to attend. So I think the next mastery course that we're offering, we have our live event that's coming up, which is it's different. And then the next one I think that we're offering is we're doing Shopify we're doing Shopify in September. And so that's going to be 12 weeks of Shopify. And then after we do Shopify, I think we do Amazon and then we do bundles again. So we have a schedule. I have a schedule all the way to 2023. I know that's crazy because I'm a planner.
Well, keep in mind, you can attend all of the live sessions for free, but as a previous participant, you won't get access to the recordings and all of the other content. It'll just be, you can come on with us now and enjoy Nicole and all the wonderful information she shares, but you'll be doing that through during the actual live session.
And I want to encourage you, if you think you got value here, I definitely will be giving lots of value in the Shopify course. I'm actually teaching the international Shopify course first with a smaller group, and then I'm teaching my Shopify course afterwards. So, consider signing up for that. I think that's going to be amazing. Consider coming to our live event. We are still finalizing some stuff. So the live event is going to be amazing. And it's going to be here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So, come and hang out with us. We'd love to talk to you face to face. It's going to be 3 days filled with lots and lots and lots of amazing content. It's designed to help you get results there. We're going to have workshops and people being able to walk around. So we lose access to the recordings? No, you never lose access to the recordings. You will always lifetime access to the recordings.
For this session.
Yeah, for the eCom Solar's Mastery. Yeah, you have lifetime access. So, yep, I'm trying to log in. Clearly, I am challenged. I don't know what my password is. I'm trying to go figure out what's going on with the Vimeo video. Okay, I'm in now. So, yes, you have lifetime access to this class. So you can come back and watch it as many times as you want to. And like I said, our amazing VA is going to be putting the workshop stuff in there. Is it possible for us to send through questions following following the course. Send 2 questions following the course. I don't know what that means, but you can always send questions. I think Renata is saying yes, but you're sending it to all panelists and not attendees. So the answer is yes. You gotta change that settings, change the drop down. But yeah, yes, you can send us questions. So you can send questions to ecomsellersmastery@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to answer your questions, whatever they happen to be. And let us know what your questions are, and we'll help you out. So tell me what in this class, if I covered a lot of stuff. Is there anything that we did not cover? I mean, I know that I probably threw up on you, meaning I gave you a whole bunch of information. You were like, oh my goodness. So what information did we not cover that you were like, I was expecting this? Maybe we'll just lump that into the session that we do. Yes, I mean, if we get stuck as we're trying to get going. Yes, you can always, so I mentioned, I don't know if you were on earlier, doing your 20-minute session. So we're gonna send that out when I send out the invite to the one-on-one, the photos, the images.
Images.
Yep, when we do the images session, I'm going to invite you to schedule a 20-minute session. I want you to create some bundles. Like, I'm serious about you creating bundles. Like, I'm super serious. I want you to create a bundle. I want you to show it to me. I want you to ask me whatever questions you want to ask me. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Ask me the question. Let's look at your bundles. Let's look at your masterpieces. And let's see what we can do to either improve them, make them even more amazing. Let's do it together. I know I covered a lot. Some people say I may have thrown up on you. Meaning, oh my gosh, I have so much information. I don't know what to do with it. So, all right, I think the video is fixed now. So let me go back over here and see if I fixed it. Refresh. Like magic. Refresh. All right. Okay, I have pieces and parts of bundles. I do too. And I would like help to figure out what to add to them to complete them. All right, so let's do that. Let's do that 20-minute session. And what I want you to do for that session, JJ, is I want you to tell me what you have. I also want you to do some niche research around those products. Like, so who's that audience and what is it that they need? What hole do we need to plug? What is it that can serve them? Or what will help them? What will solve a problem for them? So if whatever this product is, what is its intended use? And who is it intended for, potentially? And then we can figure out what other pieces we can add to it to complement it. So, I mean, if you want to take pictures for the session, you can. You don't have to. You can just tell me what it is. Like I love doing Google searches. So if you have the pictures, we can do that. If you don't have the pictures, that's fine. We can work it out. So I'm easy when it comes to that. So videos. Go ahead.
Francis is asking about packaging.
Francis is asking about packaging. So what questions do you have? Oh, okay. Can you go over packaging and what you use? So on packaging, which I don't remember which session that was in, I want to say it was 7 or 6. So in packaging, it depends on what the bundle is. So sometimes, like if it's a multi-pack, I've literally, if the item already was packaged in its own thing, I just taped them together and stuck them in a padded envelope, and I didn't have to do anything, meaning it was small enough to be able to do that. So an example, let me see if I can pull up a picture of something. Let me pull up a picture of something. Just a second. I don't want you guys to think that this is it for us. Like, oh my gosh. No, I am on this journey with you. I need to see some bundle results. I need to see somebody win. I want to see a victory on the other side of an amazing, amazing victory. I spelled mastery wrong, and that's why it's not coming up. But it helps if you spell the word right. Okay, now it'll come up. Sorry, I was troubleshooting at the same time I was talking to you. So let me pull up an image real quick.
Kathy's asking about Snagit. I don't know about Snagit anymore, but if you use a Windows PC, there's Snippet, which is just like Snagit, and that's part of Windows. So you can just do a search in your search bar on Windows, and Snippet should come up.
Yeah. Oh, and I do want to say the eCom Sellers eCom Q4 Summit is coming up as well. In August, we are actually in the early stages of inviting speakers. So I wanted to remind you guys that you can register for the eCom Sellers Summit, sorry, eCom Q4 Summit when it comes up. So let me go to Five Below. I think there's a bunch of stuff on Five Below that it's already in its own packaging. So I can better explain what I was trying to say. All right. So let's see. I got a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, so these Frisbees, I'm just going to use the Frisbees as an example. So the Frisbees are already freestanding. So if I was going to sell a multi-pack of Frisbees, like I was going to sell a multi-pack of, I don't know, 4 yellow Frisbees. Then from a packaging standpoint, I know I could probably, depending on the circumference, the size, I can put all the Frisbees inside of each other. So I can stack them inside of each other, put some tape on both sides and stuff it into a padded envelope because it's simple, and be able to ship that to my customer. And then they would get all 4 of them together. So there's no significant bounding or anything that has to happen. I just need to make sure they're packaged together. I probably want to include like a thank you note and some other stuff in there, but for the most part, just sending that off. I'm not branding it. It's not my brand. And I'm just going to send it as is. If I am private labeling Frisbees or I am private labeling my own, then I may want to put something in, like a little postcard inside of the shipment, and maybe have them shrink wrap together to make it a little more fancy and have my label, my label over the top of it, something like that, and then still stick it into a padded envelope and ship it to my customer. If it is something that requires, I'm trying to see, let's go and see. Beauty gift sets. Let's go see what they got. I don't know what they have. I find this stuff just like you find this stuff. Okay, so let's say you decide to do a private label product. This is a good one. It's essential oils. So essential oils are still popular. They'll probably still be popular next year. They kind of found another life when COVID-19 hit because so many people are like, oh, they're stressed out and or they want some healing oils or something like that. So, so essential oils are still very, very popular. You'll notice in this example, these essential oils, if you're going to like private label essential oils or white label them, you know, they've got a packaging, so it's in its own box. This is a little plastic holding them. So this is something you want to work out potentially with the manufacturer. You could get your own packaging and have that packaging sent to a prep center. They could put it together for you. And then this looks like it's small enough to still, for me, go in a padded envelope. I don't know that I would ship it in a box because I think it's still small enough to be able to go in there. But in any case, the designing on the front, you definitely want to work with somebody on that, or you could use Canva to come up with that. What is the font that you're using if you're doing branding? I definitely want to, you know, you can come up with that design on your own, or you can work with a company that specializes in branding and figure out what you're going to do with that. But the packaging itself, like how would I ship this? I probably would ship this in a padded envelope. I'd probably put a little postcard or something in there that says, thank you for your purchase, you know, to check out our other products. I probably have a Shopify store for me as I'm talking through this. I'd probably create a Shopify store so people can buy more stuff from me because clearly they're buying this multi-pack, but maybe they just want to buy the lavender by itself, or maybe they just want to buy the orange by itself, or they want to buy the, I don't know what this is, peppermint, spearmint. I'm assuming that the colors associate with the scent. That's my assumption. I may be wrong. So this is lavender, I was right. Lemon, I was right. Orange, I was right. Green is peppermint. I was right. So again, these I would probably put in some type of packaging. Now, if I am just testing selling essential oils as a bundle to see if the idea will fly. So maybe I bought some essential oils, maybe I bought the Now brand, and I'm just going to sell a multi-pack of the Now brand that I bought from Sprouts or I bought from somewhere, Whole Foods, or maybe I'm going to sell the Walmart, what is it, Ying? I forget what the Walmart brand is for their essential oils. But anyway, so I'm going to sell a multi-pack. I might just put those in a, oh, help me out, Renata. What's that plastic? um, it is not a shrink. It is a, it's not a, Lord have mercy. Why can I not think of the word? Renata, are you still there? It is, what is that bag called? Anyway, it's one of those. A poly bag. Oh my gosh, I couldn't think of it. So put it in a poly bag. I might just put it in a poly bag because again, I'm selling the Now brand. That's actually a brand of essential oils, or I'm selling whatever the Walmart brand is. I know that brand name too, but my brain is just tired right now. And I'm just going to put those multi-packs in there. So if I bought them all individually, maybe I bought a lavender and I bought a sage and I bought a peppermint and I bought a whatever. And so I listed on whatever platform as these 4 essential oils are being sold together. Somebody buys it and then somebody buys it again. Somebody buys it again. I'm like, okay, now I have validated that this is a viable product that people want. They want a multi-pack of essential oils. So now I'm going to go explore going out to a white label company and go, all right, what essential oils can I buy from you? And then I figure out my branding situation, my colors for my packaging and all of that. And I actually turn it into something that I sell that's my own, that I don't have to compete anymore. I could still sell the Now one from time to time. I can go in the store, maybe buy it at a deep discount or whatever, maybe buy it from the wholesaler or from the manufacturer and buy it at a deep discount and still sell that. But that listing, if that listing is flying off the shelf and is selling like crazy, but I'm also going to launch my own brand because I know that there's a demand for it. Did that answer your question? I feel like maybe I went around the world to answer your question. I may have gone to Egypt and back to answer your question. But I did cover packaging in session 6. And I talked about the fact that some things are going to require bubble wraps, some things are going to require poly bags, some things you'll be able to ship in padded envelopes, some things are going to be shipped in boxes. But you come up with whatever you're going to do. Think about that packaging. Don't send stuff in an Amazon box to your customer if you're trying to build a brand. Don't do that unless you're actually listing it on Amazon. Don't send stuff in a cereal box if you're trying to brand. Don't do that. So did that answer your question? I don't know. I hope it did. So in any case, look for my email for next week's class. Please consider sharing this class with somebody else and let them know, like, hey, if you want to have an amazing Q4, like Nicole went through bundling like nobody's business. And I think that we are all going to be long-term, bigger picture bundling experts because I want to go with you on this journey. So tell them to take this course because it's worth it. The course, as a matter of fact, the price of the course is going to go up the next time we offer it. So if somebody wants to get it, they need to get it now at the price that it is because I'm not doing this course again at this price at all. So, all right. Well, I am glad that I could be of service to you all. I'm glad that I could be a blessing to you. And can you share your file of the bundle inspiration ideas? It would be great. I did give you some bundle ideas in session. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Was it session 2? Session 3? One of those sessions, I gave you a list of bundle ideas. Essential oils is a good one. It is. It's still a hot commodity. So you can sell essential oils in a multi-pack or you can sell it as a bundle. Multi-pack meaning multiples of the lavender versus different kinds as a bundle. So yes, I did cover that. And it will actually also be in your notes that you're going to get that's going to be uploaded to the back office for mastery. So you'll have it in 2 places because Poonam downloaded everything so that you guys could have a paper copy of it as part of your journey. So got you covered. We also gave you a list of wholesale suppliers. We gave you a list of, she gave you a lot of stuff. You mentioned a photo file that you've been collecting. I'm not located near many large stores. So whatever stores you are located, like if you're out in the country, if you are, I don't know where you are, but I find inspiration everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I do mean everywhere. I can go to a convenience store. I can go to a mom and pop shop and I will look at something and I will take a picture of it and go see if I can find something similar on the internet somewhere. I might flip it over and take a picture of the label that's on it, like it has a manufacturer and maybe has a UPC code. I get inspiration from everything. I get inspiration from the Dollar General. I get inspiration from the 99-cent store. I get inspiration from Saks Fifth Avenue. Like it doesn't matter to me. Wherever I am, I just see bundles. And I guess it's an affliction. It's like, Monk, if you've ever watched the show Monk, he's like, it's a blessing and a curse. Because that's, again, the reason why my house is the way that it is right now. So you should be able to find something, even as simple as a local convenience store. When we go on vacation, we're going on vacation next week. I am whenever we stop at the convenience stores, I'm always going in there and walking the aisle, as small as it is, to see if I can find something that's unique, that's kitschy, that's different, taking a picture of it, taking a picture of the label to see if I can figure out where I can get this thing. And maybe there's a bundle opportunity for it. Because clearly it's in the store. So somebody thought it was a sellable item. So what other things could I potentially put with it to sell the same item? Again, right now, I'm on house arrest when it comes to buying new stuff. But that doesn't mean that I don't keep those pictures and I upload them to a Google file so that way I have them as a reference point. And then sometimes if I'm like, I feel like I'm stuck, which I'm never stuck. So, but if I do feel like I was like, I literally could go through that folder, probably close to 3,000 images. And it probably really is 3,000. I have not counted, but I can go through that folder and look at it because I've been collecting pictures since like 2014, 15. So, yeah. Does that help? Francis, does that help? So you can get inspiration from your local mom and pops. You can get inspiration from your local convenience stores. You can get inspiration from your grocery stores. I mentioned that in the training that people overlook grocery stores like all day long. Every grocery store has like besides food, they have that whole like utilities aisle and seasonal aisle and some other stuff. And so go walk that thing. Yeah, go walk that thing. So go walk that aisle and pick up some stuff and take a picture of it and feel it. And it helps you with dimensions and sizes and flip it over and see if you can find the manufacturer. And, yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, I forget what I buy sometimes too. So just take the, is the workbook and the finance spreadsheet available yet? The finance spreadsheet you already got it in a previous email. So I can send the same email out. I forget when I sent it. It's probably like 4 weeks ago. So I sent it out with a bunch of stuff that kind of here's what you should be doing. And then the workbook, the actual full length workbook, which is like, I think 50 pages at this point, maybe 60. That's going to be uploaded to the back office. And so you'll be able to go into your back office and look at it. So let me just see if this video is now available. So these are all of our workshops that we've done. If you haven't taken the next one, I would recommend is the Walmart one, because Walmart is an unsung. There it is. Okay, so it's available now. Walmart is an unsung platform when it comes to bundles. Like it is an open oasis. Open oasis. So if you're not selling on Walmart, if you have not taken our Walmart course, you need to go buy that one. Because when we teach it again, we're going to teach it. It's going to be a higher price, but Walmart, making bundles on Walmart, like there's money to be made there. So because Walmart is gunning for Amazon. So there you go. That's okay that you're catching up. It's okay. Wherever you are in the journey, I still want you to like check in with me. Tell me where check in with me 2 months from now. If you're just now, you get to a place where you catch up. And then you can say, okay, here's my sample bundles. I'll be like, all right, good. I still want you to schedule your session. So the bundles, resources, and templates are going to be under here. And this is where Pudum is going to put them. So you will have access to them. So we'll upload this recording and you guys can go back and listen to it again. And then I will send the email today. I will commit to sending the email today, and so that we can do the last workshop, which is the unplanned photos workshop. And we'll get to play with some tools. So how do we buy the Walmart now? So you can just go to www.ecomsellersmastery.com. And once you go there, you got to choose all panelists and attendees, Renata. But anyway, you can go to www.ecomsellersmastery.com, and that way you'll be able to buy it. And you can buy it there. Just click on Walmart and you can buy that class directly. Ecom Sellers. I'm just typing it in the chat. Mastery. Renata typed it, but it's going to just, there it goes. She put it in the right one. There you go.
So, yeah. I don't know why that setting doesn't stick. It's like every time I go to type something, it changes back. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go grab the Walmart class because there's so much bundles opportunity on Walmart right now. It's just, they just don't have a lot of bundles over there. So great opportunity to make some money. Okay. All right. So looking forward to the one-on-one session and looking with you, each one of you individually. Maybe we'll have a class reunion. We'll have a class reunion. And I'm also looking forward to the photo class. So we're going to do the photo class next week, and we're going to knock that bad boy out. Okay. Well, I will talk with you all later. If you have any other questions, don't forget we have a Q&A every Saturday at 2 p.m. You're welcome to come to any of the Q&As. I don't care if it's 6 months from now. You can come hang out with me at 2 o'clock. Q&A, and if we change the time of the Q&A, because we haven't changed it in 3 years. But if we change the time, I'll definitely send an email out to our mastery members to say, hey, the Q&A is moved to whatever time it is. I hope this has been a blessing, and please, by all means, tell somebody about this class. Tell them to come sign up for the class. Tell them to get it now because they want to have an amazing Q4. And don't forget to sign up for the Q4 Summit when you see the registration come out. And if you want to join us on the live event, look for that communication. It should come out next week. Okay, we'll say goodbye for now, guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming.